My name is Joseph Lasmarias. When we were kids, we were told we could do anything we wanted. We could be anything we wanted. The sky was the limit. We just had to work hard. I was surrounded by brilliant, wonderful people who wanted to leave their mark on the world. As for me, well, that sort of expectation is a lot for a kid. Deciding what I wanted to do was too much pressure. So in the end, I spent my childhood playing video games and reading. I could grow up anytime I wanted. I think about that sort of stuff later. And then high school happened. By this point, I realized that I wasn't really good at anything or had anything I really wanted to do. I know I liked writing stories and playing video games, but that was pretty much it. Realizing that I had to do something, I decided to become an artist, because pretty much all my friends wanted to do that, or computer programming. More accurately, I wanted to be an animator. It's the dream of lots of high school art students to get into the animation program at Sheridan. A little background first for those who don't know, but should because it's part of why Sheridan's so famous. The Bachelor of Animation program is one of the best, if not the best, in the world. Thousands of hopefuls apply every year from around the world. Only a little over 100 get in. Graduates get scouted by Disney, DreamWorks, and other big name studios from all over. If this is starting to sound overwhelmingly difficult for someone who's never really drawn before, it was. I knew I wasn't ready, so I applied to the Art Fundamentals program. And this is where our story at Sheridan actually starts, several years ago. Reality hit me a little quickly. I tried hard at first, I really did, but I was starting to think that maybe I just didn't have the talent for it. I thought that maybe I would just never be good enough to make it. I wondered what was wrong with me. In the end, I hated art. Eventually, I applied for Sheridan's Human Resources program, not because I had any interest in business, but just because I wanted a job that I could live on. Initially, I dismissed human resources, but it turned out to be a very interesting field. I'm an INTP. I'm a fairly introverted person, so a job that has you dealing with others all day probably doesn't seem like a bright idea. But INTPs are intrigued by new things. I was enthusiastic about learning. But the area that piqued my interest the most was training and development. It's the study of how we learn and what drives us to do it. But it made me realize that quitting art was really immature and closed minded. Nobody starts off a brilliant genius. Only after hours and hours and hours of practice can we really start to show off a little portion of our true potential. I talked with a friend from Sheridan's animation program. He later worked on the reboot of the Magic School Bus cartoon on Netflix. It took him 4 years to get in. 4 years of nothing but drawing every day and pursuing his dream. Since then, learning has become one of my most important values. I love learning for learning's sake. I like getting better at new things, even if nothing comes out of it. I do things like try to learn new languages or trying new musical instruments. I've been recently teaching myself how to program and making small video games, just to say that I can. But now, we reach the present. It looks like I still have a lot more to go for at Sheridan. To be honest, I don't really know what to do with my life. I'll probably finish my degree here, but after that, will I go back to art someday? I don't know. Here's a weakness of INTPs. We're indecisive. We're so open to new information that we second guess ourselves all the time. But if there's one thing I know for sure, that no matter what path I take, this time, I'll walk it without any regrets.